Hi, folks, and welcome to the Short Vol Show. I was just trying to fix the thing that was making my head show through yesterday on the. It's still not fixed, right? Hold on. I'm just trying to fix the filter here. Let's see if we can do this a little bit better. All right, so let's see. It's like, how's that? All right, that's better. Yeah, there was like a filter with the green screen where like my head, it shows through my head. It still shows through my head a little bit up on, if you look at my head on the screen on the right side, it kind of shows through to the background a teeny bit, but we'll just have to get over that. So we are seeing more of a rally today, and one of the news stories that's going around is that China is offering to buy a bunch of U.S. products, like $70 billion in U.S. products, if they don't, if Donald Trump does not impose tariffs. And that's sort of been the story that's been going around about tariffs and being pointed to as why we're rallying. There has been a Super Tuesday with primaries for midterm elections. All over the country, important states being California. California has an interesting setup where the top two move forward in the primaries, and so both parties are trying to get one person in those top two. Key races include Dianne Feinstein's race. There is a big, for those of you who don't follow politics all that much, there is a big fight in the Democratic Party these days between the quote-unquote progressive wing and the corporate Democrats. Corporate Democrats being those that basically had that huge loss against Donald Trump with Hillary Clinton, and progressives kind of being behind their hero, Bernie Sanders, who had surprisingly strong results in the last presidential primaries. And so that fight continues, being won, or it looks like going to be won in this case by the corporate Democrats, with Dianne Feinstein having a strong lead in California right now. But not victories by both Republicans and Democrats in this Super Tuesday. So we'll just have to wait and see on that one. As far as the markets, major indices are up, and we were having this debate yesterday about Contango versus just the area under the curve, and we've actually had expansion of both today. Contango expanding and the distance between the VIX and both futures expanding. So everything looking towards more pressure for decay in the VIX ETPs. So let's take a look quickly at VIX term structure. But really, the reason for all of this is, of course, being derived from the fact that the markets are making, I believe, new highs in the Russell, and led by the Russell and the NASDAQ. I'm not sure if the Dow has yet started making new highs, but we'll look at that in a second. But as we look at the term structure here, and I'm not blocking too much of it, we see Contango showing almost up to 7% now, which is huge. Think of it, this is a monthly number, so if you multiply that by 12, if we make the jump from around 5% to 10%, it is a huge consequences on decay on these on TVIX and UVXY. Also, the distance between spot and the front month future now a point and 34 cents, which is pretty big for this time in the cycle, and $2.30 between spot and the second month future. So there's a lot for both of these futures to fall now. Also, Contango now showing over 7%, meaning that there is a lot of decay on all of these, the VIX ETP. So if you're going to get long, be careful. People are picking tops in these markets, and they just seem to be blasting through the top. So be very careful about picking a top. Trying to call a reversal in markets can be tough, because generally it seems the trend is your friend. I did do a trade yesterday, which I can discuss with you here real quick. UVXY, I bought some outright puts with the intention of legging into a put spread by selling something against them at some point. But I did buy the December 9 puts for 240, 241, something like that, yesterday, versus 11 and change stock. Stock. I call it stock, but you know that when I say stock, I mean the ETF. So, and my thought on this was to buy these puts, hang out for a little while, and see what happens. Okay, so with these puts, I have 198 days to go. So the decay is pretty negligible. To hedge just for a day or two against buying these puts, I did buy this front week call spread, the 8 June 11.5, 12.5 call spread. I did buy that for, I think I paid a lot higher than it's worth right now. I think it was like 20 cents maybe for a dollar call spread. But I just bought that really small just to kind of protect myself for a day or two. Actually, I think I paid 15 cents for it. Anyway, so now I am long some D9 puts outright. I did sell a couple D7 puts against them, but most of it is just naked long, these D9 puts. And my feeling on these is just that with Contango increasing to an average of above 5%, stuff is going to drift down, and I want to take advantage of that. And also by buying puts, if stuff spikes, I know that volatility will expand, and I'm not going to get my head ripped off like if I would if I was selling naked calls. So that's my play right now. I did take off the short call spreads I had on for a profit yesterday, so that was cool. But I do want to participate in this down move, as I've been short UVXY in one manner or another since last March, and except for a day or two. And stuff starts to get a lot of times with moves, when you have an extended move in one direction or another, they last a lot longer than you think they're gonna. And I've made the mistake before of catching on to a little bit of a move, and then I jump off, and then the move just continues and continues and continues, and I'm like, why did I jump off? Perfect example of that is Boson stock, which I've talked about before, now trading 64. I bought it for I was watching it from $4 or $5. I bought it for $8, sold it for $9, and then watched it go to 63. So I'm on that short UVXY trend, and I'm just going to hang with it for a while. I was having some interesting conversations with Michael Listman, who's one of my heroes, on Facebook yesterday, and he was talking about the fact that beta slippage had caused, I think, $2 or $3 in decay in the last couple months for UVXY. So that's a big number. Everything conspiring to decay UVXY right now in the favor of shorts. And the Facebook group very active right now. Please check out the discussions. I want to actually leave some of the discussion just for members of that group. So go check it out. You can see what's going on there. Cool stuff is going on. There's all kinds of separate discussions, and join the group, be active, and join in on the discussion. Everything from trading corn, volatility in corn, to just your basic UVXY, what we've been talking about here, is showing up on the Facebook group. And that's really cool. I love seeing activity. There is trading activity all over the place right now, and people are getting excited with UVXY and Contango really increasing here. So let's take a look, as promised, at the Dow for a second here. And I'm going to go to the 3-year. Okay, so the Dow on the 3-year here has not broken out of its all-time high. And sorry for the dead air there, folks. Let's see. All right, so I'm just trying to move this down slightly so you can see it better. So this is a 3-year chart of the Dow, and you can see off of the highs set in January. And when we go to the Russell, however, you see all-time highs. We go to the NASDAQ, all-time highs, just barely. And this is the E-minis. So basically, SPX still not back to all-time highs, but if that does happen, that will happen eventually sometime. When and if that does happen, that just bodes volatility will just get crushed even more. So the VIX now at 1220. I can't tell you what's going to happen to volatility in the next day or two. I can never tell you that, but we are with leadership by the NASDAQ and the Russell. The market is back raging to the upside, and volatility really reflects that. With the VIX around 1222 now, how low can it go? Well, it can go back to 10 again, and if I would suspect if the SPX can break the all-time high again, volatility could go to 10 or even below. So keep that in mind. Moving forward, I did buy some of the Afria, the MJ stock, around the 930 range. Here's the chart for 3 years. Hard to tell from this chart a whole lot, but I feel like my downside is around 8 and change. So 930 was the purchase. We'll see what happens with that small. And I do want to leave you because we are coming towards the open right now. So I want to thank my partner, Guerrilla Trades. They've had some great calls lately. Let's pull them up for a second. They just closed. They have an options trade of the, I don't know if it's trade of the day or, but just they put up an options trade from time to time, idea. And they put up one in Apple the other day, and I think they closed it for a winner like really quickly, which was exciting. But I've enjoyed subscribing to them. My favorite part is actually the emails I get on current events and what's going on with numbers and things like that. But they do have picks for specific issues. One of them being jazz, but they do have picks, and they have targets for them and sort of how to set up the trades for them. And so check them out. They also have great inspirational quotes every day from famous traders. That stuff's interesting too. So, I'm happy to be in the Guerrilla Trades orbit right now, and I would recommend it for people because, it's great to have someone pointing out to you like what the theme is. I talk about this a lot. Coming into a day, you want to say, what's the theme today? And if you have somebody that sends you an email and says, okay, well, these numbers came out and this is what we're looking for, that's very helpful. We do have the G7 meetings coming up soon. Let's go to investing.com for a second and take a look what they have to say. So futures rise on cooling trade tensions. U.S. officials were weighing an offer by China to import an extra $70 billion of American goods over a year. I mentioned that earlier. Then it's got some individual stock info. And then let's see what else we have here. Italian bonds slump again. Okay, so it says the risk-on mood seen across global markets this morning follows an upbeat in U.S. session that includes several bullish factors, such as both the NASDAQ Composite and NASDAQ 100 hitting fresh record closes for the first time since mid-March. So I already kind of mentioned that. And nothing that new that I didn't already mention. Investors are also bracing for an anti-Trump backlash in a meeting with a group of 7 this week. While relations between the U.S. and China are reportedly being patched up, G7 allies have recently vented anger at the U.S. president's hardline position, especially over steel and aluminum tariffs. And we did see Trudeau from Canada reacting to tariffs on Canadian goods. And the G7 summit will be in Quebec, so Trudeau will have a larger platform to discuss this sort of thing. All right, so that's where we stand, and I will leave you to start trading today and have a great day. Tell you, YouTube, they like demonetized my video halfway through the day yesterday. I don't really understand why that is, but go figure, right? Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.